Yosemite National Park in California is about 1,200 square miles of amazing mountains with high cliffs, scenic valleys, rushing waterfalls, ancient sequoia trees, and lots of open wilderness space. This is my favorite national park of all the US national parks. In this video, I'm going to show you guys 15 great things to do in Yosemite National Park. If it's your first time visiting this channel, welcome. My name is Stoof from Travel SzN. While you're here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more fun travel adventure videos like this one. Again, this video is about Yosemite National Park. Yosemite is often confused with Yellowstone. Yellowstone National Park is in Wyoming. It was America's first national park. This video is about Yosemite National Park in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. Here are some of the main entrances and regions of Yosemite National Park. Most of the popular items in this list are located in Yosemite Valley. That's where most of the crowds are when visiting this national park. However, I do have some things on this list that are not in Yosemite Valley, but still within the national park. If you take a quick look at this list, there are multiple entrances to Yosemite National Park. Most people tend to enter from that south entrance, coming north from Fresno, or they enter through the Big Oak Flat entrance coming from the Bay Area. I also labeled this map of Yosemite Valley with some key features of things I'm going to mention in this list, so keep an eye out for this map to show up later in the video as I'm talking about things to do in the park. I also wanted to briefly mention that Yosemite Valley has a free shuttle system for visitors, and as I'm talking about things to do in Yosemite Valley, I will mention which shuttle stop to get off at for that item. Another thing I'd like to mention is Yosemite National Park is very popular, and in recent years they implemented an entrance reservation system. You will need a reservation to get into Yosemite National Park on these dates in 2024. Make sure you check the National Park Service website. I have a link for that in the description under this video to find more information about reservations for when you're planning to visit Yosemite. This list is not ranked in any particular order. Number 1 on this list is to hike the Lower Yosemite Falls Loop. It is a flat, paved 1.2 mile loop. Dogs are allowed on this trail because it's a paved trail in the valley. The Lower Yosemite Falls trailhead is located in the central part of Yosemite Valley, just west of the Valley Visitor Center area. Strollers and wheelchairs are accessible on this trail, and this is one of the most popular trails in the park. You'll take shuttle stop number 6 to hike the Lower Yosemite Falls Loop. This is where you see that classic photo on Instagram all the time of Upper Yosemite Fall and Lower Yosemite Fall through the tree line. This paved path walks you through the forest to an up-close view of Lower Yosemite Fall. It then loops back around through the forest, taking you over several bridges that go over the rocky streams below. I'll have a link for every hiking route on this list in the description under this video. Number 2 on this list is to check out the reflections at Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake is located on the eastern end of Yosemite Valley, closer to the Upper Pine and Lower Pine campgrounds. From shuttle stop 17, it's under 2 miles walking on a paved path uphill slightly to get to the lower pool area around Mirror Lake. After that paved trail ends, there is a trail that loops around the Mirror Lake region that is rated easy to moderate. It's a 4 to 5 mile loop. You can get some beautiful views of the calm waters at Mirror Lake and reflections of the surrounding cliffs, including Half Dome. Mirror Lake varies from season to season. In the springtime, as water rushes through Tanaya Creek, it carries sediment out from Mirror Lake, so you might not be as likely to see a calm reflection at that time. Later in the season, the sediment just deposits and the water can be more calm. And from late summer to early autumn, all of the water can dry out of Mirror Lake and turn it into Mirror Meadow. I recommend visiting Mirror Lake midday to late afternoon when the sunlight is on Half Dome. In the early mornings, the sun is behind Half Dome and you don't get that warm glow of the reflection of Half Dome on the water. Next on our list is to visit Glacier Point. Standing 3,200 feet above the valley floor is Glacier Point, offering stunning views of Half Dome and the surrounding area. There are a few ways to get to Glacier Point. You can hike there by hiking up 4 Mile Trail. This is about 4.5 miles one way. If you get to Glacier Point, hike around Glacier Point a bit and go back, it's closer to 10 miles out and back. This is a strenuous hike. Another hiking option to get to Glacier Point is to start at Happy Isles. Starting at the Mist Trail, hike up Vernal Fall, past Nevada Fall, get up to Illilouette Fall, where you're then on the Panorama Trail. You get past Panorama Point and make your way to Glacier Point. This is also a strenuous hike, about 9 miles one way. Hiking to Glacier Point via the Panorama Trail is a great backup option if you don't get Half Dome permits, if you were hoping to hike Half Dome but you didn't get a permit for that. And that's an option that we took when we visited the park in 2017. We hiked Panorama Point to Glacier Point and then hiked back down to Yosemite Valley, taking the 4 Mile Trail. I don't recommend starting at Glacier Point and hiking down the valley via the Panorama Point Trail past Nevada and Vernal Fall. Going down Vernal Fall's granite steps is really tough on your joints. So hiking to Glacier Point is not easy. However, you can get to Glacier Point by taking a car or by taking one of Yosemite's guided bus tours. If you are driving to Glacier Point, it's about a 1-hour drive from Yosemite Valley. You'll turn onto Glacier Point Road and take that road directly out to Glacier Point. As I mentioned, Yosemite offers guided bus tours to Glacier Point. Those leave from the Yosemite Valley Lodge. You may need to book those in advance, so check the link in the description under this video for more information about the Yosemite guided tours to Glacier Point. These guided tours are not complimentary. The price of the tour varies depending on if you're doing a one-way trip to Glacier Point and then hiking back down to the valley, or if you would like a round-trip tour up to Glacier Point and back into the valley. Glacier Point Road is closed to vehicle traffic in the winter months. However, experienced cross-country skiers can access Glacier Point via Glacier Point Road. Once you make it up to Glacier Point, there is a big open viewpoint area with views of Half Dome and the waterfalls in Yosemite Valley. There is a short half-mile trail from the parking area to get a closer view of all of the waterfalls, Half Dome, and the valley. Glacier Point also has restroom facilities. Although Glacier Point doesn't have any lodging or full restaurants, there is a gift shop and a snack stand. There is a ski hut for experienced cross-country skiers in the winter season. Number 4 on our list of things to do in Yosemite National Park is to hike to the very top of Upper Yosemite Falls. This hike is not for the faint of heart. It is a strenuous hike for experienced hikers. To access the Upper Yosemite Falls trailhead, you're going to take shuttle stop number 7 or park at the Yosemite Falls parking area. From there, you cross the street and follow signs for the top of Yosemite Falls or Upper Yosemite Falls, and you'll follow this trail through the forest, going back and forth on numerous switchbacks, making your way around the cliffside and up to Upper Yosemite Fall.
You're crazy.
This trail is almost 7 miles out and back with over 3,000 feet elevation gain. I rate this as strenuous. I always feel like I had a great workout when I do this hike. It's one of my favorite hikes in Yosemite because this trail has stunning views of Upper Yosemite Fall and Yosemite Valley as you're going up the cliffside. From the top of Upper Yosemite Falls, you have beautiful views looking down at the valley, and it makes your heart race to be so close to the cliffside, looking down at the top of that waterfall. I previously made a video about the Upper Yosemite Fall hike. I have a link for that video in the description under this video. Number 5 on our list is to float down the Merced River on a raft. Rafts can be rented from the Curry Village Information and Activities Kiosk. You also can bring your own raft. Whether you are renting a raft or bringing your own, you would enter the Merced River at the Stoneman Bridge just across from Curry Village, float about 3 miles down the Merced River, taking in all of the views of Yosemite Valley as you meander along the river path until you get to Sentinel Beach, where you need to exit the river and find your way back to your starting point. Floating down the Merced River is a relaxing activity, but it isn't always available. The water gauge has to be below a certain level for rafting to be allowed, so make sure you check current conditions in the park and check in with the Curry Village Information Center before taking your raft onto the river. If conditions are right, it should be a leisurely float down the Merced River. Once you get out at Sentinel Beach, that is a great spot to lay out, relax, and have a picnic. Make sure you pack in and pack out all of your own food if that's something you plan on doing. In your cost to rent a raft from Curry Village, they include your raft to float down the river, and they include a shuttle back to Curry Village where they will take you and your raft back to Curry Village for you. If you'd like to avoid the crowds at Yosemite Valley, but you still would like to enjoy the nature of Yosemite, I recommend taking a day trip up to Tuolumne Meadows, located on the northeast section of the national park. This 1.5 to 2 hour drive from Yosemite Valley is well worth the trip. Tuolumne Meadows is one of the largest high elevation meadows in the Sierra Nevada at 8,600 feet above sea level. Once you make it to Tuolumne Meadows, you can stop by the visitor center to learn more about this region of the park. You can hike up to the top of Lambert Dome, or you could hike over to Soda Springs, which is a rusty colored, naturally carbonated spring of water coming up at the surface and trickling down the hillside. In addition to hiking, Tuolumne Meadows is a relaxing spot for bird watching, wildlife watching, or just taking a nap along the Tuolumne River. Because this high elevation meadow receives so much snow every year, the road, Tioga Pass, is closed to vehicle traffic until park staff can plow out the road for access in summer months. You can find out more information about road closures and accessing Tuolumne Meadows in the description under this video. Number 7 on our list of things to do in Yosemite is to see the ancient giant sequoia trees. There is not 1 or 2, but 3 sequoia groves in Yosemite National Park. The largest of the sequoia groves is the Mariposa Grove, located in the south section of the park near Wawona. The other 2 groves are much smaller and a little bit longer of a hike to get to the groves. Those would be the Tuolumne and Merced groves. If you are planning a day trip up to Tuolumne Meadows or the northeast area of the park, I recommend stopping at either the Merced Grove or the Tuolumne Grove. If you're hiking through the Tuolumne Grove, it's about a 2.5 mile out and back trail with a bit of a loop in it that takes you through some famous giant sequoia trees, including the dead giant tunnel tree, which you can currently walk under while following the trail. It takes about 2 hours to hike through the Tuolumne Grove. If you're interested in a more strenuous hike, the Merced Grove Trail is 4.2 miles with over 700 feet elevation gain. If you are visiting the Mariposa Grove near the Wawona entrance in Yosemite National Park, there are several trail options for you, rated from easy to strenuous. Famous sequoias at the Mariposa Grove include the grizzly giant and the California tunnel tree, which is a living giant sequoia tree with a tunnel under it that you can walk through on your path. A free shuttle may be required for use to get between the Welcome Plaza and the Mariposa Grove, as there is limited parking at the Grove. There also is a walking trail from the Welcome Plaza to the Grove if you would like to add a bit more onto your hike. Many of these giant sequoias are over 3,000 years old. Another cool fact about these giant sequoia trees is that they are adapted to survive wildfires. They have a thick, fibrous bark that insulates them from the heat of wildfires. Additionally, they tend to drop their lower branches as they grow taller, which helps to avoid the fire from climbing up to the tops of the trees. If you're interested in finding souvenirs for your friends, shopping for a new art piece for your home, having lunch, or learning more about the history and science of Yosemite, you have to stop at number 8 on our list, Yosemite Village. Shuttle stops 4 and 5 will take you there. Yosemite Village is home to the valley's main visitor center, which is staffed with rangers inside and out that can help you plan your time in the park or answer any questions that you have. There also is a museum there that displays baskets and tools made by the native people that inhabited this valley before it became a national park. If you're hungry, Degnan's Kitchen, formerly known as Degnan's Deli, has some of the best chicken caprese sandwiches I've ever had. Village Grill is a short walk away from Degnan's and also has a handful of delicious food options for lunch. There is a little grocery store there next to the Village Grill if you need to purchase any grocery type items or souvenirs. Also in Yosemite Village is the Ansel Adams Gallery, an art gallery that contains photography, artwork, and fine crafts available to purchase. And a very important thing in Yosemite Village is the medical clinic. So if you happen to have a medical emergency or you injure yourself while you're in Yosemite, the medical clinic is located east of Degnan's Kitchen, back behind the Yosemite Village parking area. If you're doing any backcountry camping in Yosemite National Park, the Wilderness Center is there to supply you with backcountry permits. Number 9 on our list is to ride your bicycle around Yosemite Valley. There are 3 options for riding a bike around the valley. Number 1, you can bring your own bicycle. Number 2, you can rent bicycles for a cost from the Curry Village area. Or number 3, you can participate in the free bicycle share program offered in the valley. There are over 12 miles of paved bicycle trails in Yosemite Valley. As you can see on this map, if you were to park in that main Yosemite Village parking area and then start heading out onto the bicycle path, you could visit most of the popular sites in Yosemite Valley along the bike trail. In addition to this paved bike trail, bikes are allowed on the main road that goes into Yosemite Valley, as long as you obey traffic regulations. Here's a little more information about the bike share program offered in Yosemite. You can pick up a bike from the bike share program from Yosemite Village or from the Yosemite Valley Lodge parking lot area. Here's information about how to do it. You need to download the bike share app to get started, and it can walk you through from there. We brought our own bicycles when we visited Yosemite National Park, and my favorite section along the bike path is the area from Mirror Lake along Tenaya Creek until you get to Yosemite Village. It's really quiet and less crowded in this area. Tenaya Creek is crystal clear, calm water, and I commonly see wildlife in this area. Taking your bicycle around the Yosemite Valley is a great way to see some of those big cliff sides, waterfalls, meadows, wildlife, and other cool stuff without having to walk or without having to take the crowded shuttles. Number 10 on our list is to hike to the base of Bridalveil Fall. Located on the western side of Yosemite Valley, outside of the shuttle route. If you plan on hiking to the base of Bridalveil Fall, I recommend doing this first before entering the valley parking areas, as the shuttles do not come to Bridalveil Fall. In 2022, the park finished construction of a larger parking area farther east along Southside Drive. So now there are 2 areas you can park to visit the base of Bridalveil Fall. To access the base of the falls from the new parking area, it's 0.8 miles out and back. From the old parking area, it's 0.5 miles out and back. However, the old parking area gets pretty congested coming in and out of that parking lot. And the new parking area is mostly street parking along Southside Drive, so it's easier to get in and out of that area. If you take the trail from the newer parking lot, you also get to go over several new bridges that offer views of Bridalveil Fall that you don't get coming from the older parking lot. If you enter Yosemite National Park through the south entrance at Wawona, you'll be lucky enough to have your first view of Yosemite Valley at Tunnel View, just after exiting the Wawona Tunnel. If you're entering from El Portal Road or from Big Oak Flat Road, you will miss Tunnel View coming into the park, but you can still make your way up to Tunnel View viewpoint if you'd like. From Tunnel View across the street, there are several hikes you can do, one of them being Inspiration Point. It is a moderate 2-mile out and back hike that takes you to a higher elevation with more views of the forest and a higher elevation view looking down on Yosemite Valley. I haven't mentioned this yet, but Yosemite National Park is known for getting wildfires every now and then. It is in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, and here was our view through the wildfire smoke in 2017 when we visited Yosemite. Number 12 on our list of things to do in Yosemite National Park is to take a guided valley floor tram tour. These tram tours are not free, you do need to pay for them. However, a interpretation ranger will join you on this tram tour and will tell you all kinds of cool facts about the park, let you know about its history, the geology, the flora and the fauna, as you sit in the comfort of the tram, open to the sky with views of the surrounding cliffs. Tickets for the Yosemite Valley tram tours may need to be purchased in advance. You can pick those up from the Yosemite Valley Lodge front desk, and the tour departs daily from the Yosemite Valley Lodge. Number 13 on this list is one of my personal favorites, and that is to hike the Mist Trail. I have a full video on different routes you can take for hiking the Mist Trail in Yosemite National Park. I have a link for that video in the description under this video, but a little more information about this trail. The Mist Trailhead is located near Happy Isles on the eastern end of the valley. If you're taking the shuttle over there, it is stop number 16. The trail starts paved for almost the first mile till you get to the footbridge with your first view of Vernal Fall. At that point, there is a water fountain and restroom. Then the trail becomes a dirt path with rocks and roots in it until you make it up to the Vernal Fall section right along the Merced River, where you reach the granite steps of the Mist Trail. This trail will take you right up to the very top of Vernal Fall, which is a 300-foot waterfall that will blast mist on you in the spring and early summer seasons. So this trail is not for inexperienced hikers. If it's your first time doing this hike, take your time. If you are a little bit slow or out of breath, let people pass you and make sure you stay on the side of the trail that is closer to the granite wall and away from the ledge going down to the river. From the top of Vernal Fall, you can continue on to the top of Nevada Fall. From there, you could continue up to the top of Half Dome. If you have a Half Dome permit, you could make a right-hand turn at the top of Nevada Falls steps and hike along the John Muir Trail, where you can return back to the valley or head up to Glacier Point via the Panorama Trail. There are lots of hiking options here, most of them on the strenuous side. Number 14 on my list is to hike to the top of Half Dome. This is one of the most strenuous day hikes available in Yosemite National Park, with 16.5 miles out and back and over 5,000 feet elevation gain. This is a full day hike. To get to the top of Half Dome, the Park Service puts up these cables that go up the side of Half Dome, so you can hold on to the cables to pull yourself up, as it is a very steep incline to get up to the top of Half Dome. Permits are required for Half Dome. I hiked Half Dome last in 2011. I apply for permits in the lottery system every year, and I have yet to be awarded the permits to hike Half Dome again. Because this is such a popular hike and only 300 people are permitted to hike Half Dome every day, it is very hard to get a permit. If you're interested in learning more about hiking Half Dome and the permit system, I have a link for that in the description under this video. If you were successful in obtaining Half Dome permits, I recommend wearing a climber's harness around your waist and carabining yourself in and out of each section of the cables as you're going up. It's just an extra safety precaution, so if you do slip and fall, you will not fall to your death. I also recommend wearing gloves, as the wire cables are uncomfortable on your bare hands. I also wanted to briefly mention there is a way to see Half Dome while staying overnight backpacking in Little Yosemite Valley. That would break up your total hiking length per day by staying overnight in Little Yosemite Valley. There's more information about that in the description under this video as well. Number 15 on our list of things to do in Yosemite National Park is to visit Olmsted Point and Tenaya Lake. Olmsted Point and Tenaya Lake are along Tioga Pass, less than 10 miles west of Tuolumne Meadows. If you are heading up to Tuolumne Meadows for the day, Olmsted Point is a great stopping point to check out the views from this area, and Tenaya Lake is a nice spot to take in the views of the lake briefly or to spend a full day at this relaxing area. Olmsted Point has some pretty cool features in the area that were carved out by glaciation. You can learn more about that by reading the plaques at this viewpoint area. When we visited Olmsted Point, there was a ranger there with a spotting scope, so visitors could come over and view people going up the cables on Half Dome. Just a few miles northeast of Olmsted Point is Tenaya Lake. Tenaya Lake is a crystal clear, calm lake, popular for picnicking, swimming, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, and canoeing. There are 2 picnic areas in Tenaya Lake and a restroom facility if you need it. Alright, travel friends, that wraps up my list of 15 things to do in Yosemite National Park. I have a few bonus items for you, including watching for wildlife in Yosemite, checking out some of their historic hotels, watching the climbers on the various cliffs around Yosemite Valley, and finally, bringing a towel or a folding chair to sit on at one of the viewpoints along the roadways so you have a nice relaxing spot to take in the scenery, read a book, work on a plein air painting, or just enjoy your time in beautiful Yosemite. Some wildlife you can expect to see are mule deer, western fence lizards, lots of ground squirrels, stellar jays. You might see black bear, which aren't always black in Yosemite. They could be brown as well, however they are all black bear. The black bear in Yosemite are particularly smart, so make sure you don't leave any food, sunscreen, chapstick, or smelly items in your vehicles while you are in Yosemite because the bears will sniff that out and they might break into your car and steal it. You also may like to check out the Wawona Hotel in Wawona, the south section of Yosemite, or the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite Valley. Both have a lot of history and are unique and are beautiful inside and out. When you enter the national park, you'll be provided with a park brochure that will have a list of events happening in the park during that time period. If you're interested in participating in a ranger-led activity or an art program, then make sure you check out the programs list in that brochure. They also have it on the Yosemite National Park website. There are so many more things to do in Yosemite National Park. I know this national park better than any other national park I've visited because I've spent so much time here. I wanted to curate this list of things to do in Yosemite, keeping in mind that diverse group of people that visits this national park every year. I have more helpful travel videos related to Yosemite National Park coming your way soon, so make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of those videos. If you have questions from this video or questions about Yosemite National Park in general, leave a comment under this video and I will answer that to the best of my knowledge. If you're planning your own trip to Yosemite National Park, I'm jealous. Have a great time. It is a beautiful, magnificent place. Please treat it with respect. Don't throw your trash on the ground. Keep your distance from the wildlife there to keep them wild, and enjoy your time in one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Again, thanks for watching. My name is Stoof from Travel SzN. Have a great day and happy travels!